We're back again. The Solomon Project, where it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep that counts. I'm your host, Richard Burns, and let's head out. We are in Illinois, or as some people like to say, Illinois. Yes, we're on the lower end. We're on the southern end. We're pretty close to Kentucky. I'm trying to think about how many miles away we are from Kentucky. We're not that far off from Kentucky. Maybe 38 miles. Maybe. I don't know. I'll know in a second. Once I find out what my GPS says. But my GPS is not going to tell me anything until I get on the highway. I think I'm still on I-24. Or I just merged onto I-57. That's a 5-7, y'alls. We're going to check and see. In the meantime, I want you guys to put your seatbelts on as well. Remember, safety first. And while you're putting your seatbelt on, or if you already have it on, I just want to know one thing. How's your bottom? Yes, I want to know how your bottom is. Bottom? Okay, at the stop sign, we're going to count 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Then we move. That's how you want to do it. You want to get at least 3 seconds in. And because I have a camera besides the one I'm filming with, I have an external camera. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. The camera is going to show, in the event that I get a citation for rolling through a stop sign, that's my proof, that's my evidence right there with that camera, that I did not roll through the stop sign. It was an actual full stop. That's a nice thing about having the camera. Now, with that camera, and I'm not trying to evade the question I asked. Now the camera's a double-edged sword now, because the camera also records the time, the date, and how fast you're going. So if you're going over the speed limit and you were cited for going over the speed limit, yeah, that camera's not going to help you. It might get you into deeper trouble. Maybe the camera helps with the reduction of getting a citation for some companies, because now their drivers are aware that their movements are being monitored. Oh, look, a weigh station, y'alls. I've taken you through a weigh station or two, I think. Those are always interesting. The type of things, and it's open. Yeah, so we get to go through this one too. Wonderful. It says weigh station, but weight is not the only thing they check. Some of these weigh stations have sensors that can detect if you have a flat or not. Isn't that something? If you notice, some of them are going through without going into the weigh station. They're going past the weigh station. There's a reason for that. There's a device that many trucks have. It's called a pre-pass. And remember when I spoke to you about all those points you can accumulate through your CSA score? If your CSA score is too high and you got a pre-pass, they're not going to let you go by the way station because you got too many points. If you have very low points, chances are you'll get a green light on that thing and you don't have to go into the way station. Now, let's see which side they send me to. They might send me to the left or they might send me to the right. Gotta wait. Oh, they're gonna send me to the right. That means they're gonna weigh me out. I'm gonna get scaled out. They are gonna check for my, I don't know if any sensors picked up any flats or not. I kicked the tires, I didn't feel any flat, but that doesn't mean it isn't flat. But let's go in here and let's get on the scale. Now when you get on the scale, I've seen some dudes get on the scale like at 10 miles an hour. They don't like that because you can damage that scale, or that's more wear and tear on the scale. So let's stop right here first. Remember, we're going to count to 3,000. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. This time, they're inside that booth, that house, whatever that is. I'm going to go over it real slow. Real slow. Put my windows down because I usually got a speaker. Okay, I'm supposed to stop right here, I guess. Oh, I got the green light. That was quick. Sometimes they take a while. Sometimes they take a few more seconds because while you're hopping on the scale, it takes a while for the scale to actually lock in on your weight. This one was pretty quick. That scale must be well maintained or recently calibrated. So let's go, y'all. Let's keep it moving. My GPS can tell me when the next scale is. It's calculating according to the route, because there are scales in different highways. Okay, so I'm 47 miles away from the border of Kentucky. 47? Yeah, that's what it looks like. I'll tell you right now, if it's going down, well, let's call it 47. Sometimes these highway mile markers can get funky. If you're going north, in some cases, the mile marker increases. But in some states, if you're going north, the mile markers can be decreasing, driving you crazy. So here we go. Look to the right, y'all. There's the mile marker, 47. Okay. So if the next one's 48, then yeah, we were 47 miles away from the border of Kentucky. So we're pretty far down. We got a long ways to go. And I don't know why this thing is sending me through I-64 going towards St. Louis. I was assuming, because I'm going to Minnesota, I was assuming that it was just going to send me up I-57, but I guess not. Or, whoa. Let me rephrase that. Continue on 57, because I am currently on 57. Well, there you go. Oh, but then I might not be 40. Yeah, I might be 48 miles away from Missouri. Oh, because it's calculating from I-57. If I was on I-24, it'd be a different thing, y'alls. So how's your bottom? I'm curious to know. I did a video, and an awesome content creator who happens to be subbed to my channel from the SIP. From the SIP made a statement, and it motivated me to do this video. Let's just say that. I don't remember talking about the types of sacrifices that people can make. I always mention, not always, but I have often spoken about sacrifices. If you're poor and you're from the hood and you want to get out of the hood, you want to get out of the circumstances that dominate in the hood that aren't positive, you may need to make some sacrifices. And I revisited Booker T. Washington's story. And you'll see examples there of sacrifices that will blow your mind. Absolutely blow your mind. Inconceivable for somebody to do in today's time. Inconceivable. He managed to achieve things by making sacrifices. Now, understand, he deliberately did some of the things that he did in order to advance his goal. I mean, this man slept underneath a sidewalk. Well, they were wooden at that time. He slept underneath there like he was homeless. But he had nowhere else to sleep. Because he was on his way to a location. He was on his way to a university to become a student at this university. But the circumstances with that were absolutely outrageous, because it wasn't like he had an acceptance letter to go to this university. No, he took it upon himself to travel 500 miles to hope to attend this university. And this man, with no place to stay, no money, no food, hungry, starving, slept underneath some sidewalk, some boardwalk, whatever you want to call it, because they weren't made out of cement, they were made out of wooden planks, and he slept under there like a homeless person. He did that just so that he can attempt to go to this university. Arrived there smelling funky because he hadn't bathed in days, he hadn't eaten in days, he was in bad shape. No, I think he did do some work at a shipyard and made himself some chump change, and then went to the university. But that shipyard, I think, was like, I don't know, maybe 50 miles away. No, less than that, from where he needed to wind up. So when you want to change your circumstances, are you prepared to create a new bottom, a lower bottom? Are you prepared for that? Are you prepared for that? Because if not, sometimes it might be better to grab a lower bottom and reposition yourself financially so that you can amass the money necessary for that upward trajectory that you want. So scaling back, we're talking about scaling back now. So you would wind up either getting rid of or having less less comforts, less creature comforts. Are you willing? You would have to ask yourself how serious you are about that upwardly move. Now, it appears to me age is a factor when it comes to this. And while I'm talking about age, for the hood, got a little excited there. For the hood, the ages of 12 through 25 are crucial years. Those are the years that human beings, and a study was made, those are the years that human beings make the greatest mistakes ever. Between the ages of 12 and 25, because the human brain goes through a phase through those years where the emotional brain does not communicate with the logical brain, and the emotional brain is the most influential of both sides. It is the reason why it's easy to recruit for gangs and the military. Yes. Those are the years in a human being's life where they are most easily influenced. 12 to 25. 12 to 25. So if you're a 26-year-old, hopefully you're past the phase, past the stage, past the duchy, and you can now tap into your logical brain. Could be easier to make that decision, make the assessment, then make the decision. That maybe you could do it with less of some things, which is what I encouraged AJ, which is the first of the portfolios that I've been showing on Whip It Out Wednesday. Next one will be in a couple of weeks. For those who have never heard AJ's story, AJ was encouraged to participate in the stock market, like I'm always trying to encourage people to do. I don't teach anything here on YouTube. I don't offer a course, although I should offer a course. I should offer a course on how not to get wrapped up in courses. So AJ has a direct connection with me, and I help him. And this is not financial advice. This is or investment advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. AJ was making a salary. AJ was about to get a raise, and like most people, a raise only means more money that they're going to spend. That's typically what it means for most people. You wind up making more, you wind up spending more. Are you spending it on necessities? No. You're not. You're already contaminated with whatever the marketing you've been contaminated with throughout the course of your life. And here in these United States of America, the marketing makes absolute sure that even at a subconscious level, you want to spend your money, you want to consume. Now, I can't go against consumption. I can't go against that. Because I build my wealth with what everybody else is consuming. AJ is building his wealth that way. CJ, JB, Jetta, the Queen, they're all building their wealth on the consumption that everybody else is making. So I'm not gonna talk against consumption. What I am saying is that you can control the amount of money that you use to consume. You can control that, and you can increase it and decrease it. However, when you make decisions that have to do with increasing and decreasing, you have to make sure, depending on where you want to wind up. If you want to wind up in a situation where you're prepared for whatever crisis that comes, or just about any crisis that comes, well then you got to control your spending and make sure you stockpile enough currency to be able to weather those storms. You may not come out of that storm unscathed, but you'll be much better off than most people, because most people do not prepare themselves for those storms, for those financial storms, for the Great Recession, for the Great Depression. If you were in New Orleans when Katrina came through, if you were in Florida when a variety of hurricanes went through, if you were in the plains area where tornadoes came through your town and maybe took out your house or whatever the case is. And by the way, y'alls, this administration has decided that the states need to take care of their own emergencies when it comes to these natural disasters. So they're cutting out that support. I don't know if they already have, but that's the plan, to cut out federal support from FEMA. So now it's up to the states. And you know which states are poorer, don't you? Yeah. You know that the red states are poor and the blue states are much better off financially, in case you didn't know. Now, with AJ, I gave him something to think about. Before his raise came through, I suggested, because at the current amount that he was making, he felt that his life was balanced. He had enough to take care of his needs. He had enough to keep a little something in savings and hang out with his friends, hit some bars, go watch some sports games at the bars, take a vacation once a year with his family. He's got a wife and 2 kids. An occasional staycation. And now, with the extra money that was coming in, I proposed something. I asked him, If you're fine the way you are right now, when that extra money comes in, why don't you use that extra money to make more money? Of course, it didn't make any sense to him what I was talking about because I didn't specify. But I broke it down. It had to do with the stock market. He decided to go with that suggestion. And now, in what, a year and a half, 2 years, he's got about $4,000 working for him. I didn't say saved. I said working for him. Because that's exactly what his money is doing. It's working for him. $4,000 doesn't sound like a lot. But how many people in the hood, how many working class people, hell, how many lower middle class people have $4,000 on the side besides their savings? AJ's working class. He's not even lower middle class. And he's got that. And those $4,000 aren't just sitting around. And they're not making the type of interest that your typical savings account makes. He's making much more than that. His dollars are acting like employees and they are working for him. Not the type of example where I'm showing where he went lower than where he was. But there are occasions where it can be done. You could do it less. You can downgrade for a while just so that you can upgrade later on. But upgrade with more security, more financially secure. So, maybe some people are having a hard time surviving with what they're making. However, is there a possibility that you can relieve some of that pressure by scaling down a little bit? Just a question. I'm curious to know what your answer is. Let me know in the comments. And by the way, I should have stated this before. If you go in the comment section, well, if you got this far, if you go in the comment section, there's a link to Webull where if you open an account with that link, you can be awarded up to 20 free stocks, even fractional stocks. So, something to consider, and I'm gonna let you go with that. And I'm gonna have Kitty come pick y'alls up so you can get to your destination safely. Well, maybe. Kitty!
Arabam Dacia, seviyorum çift kalem aça. Göremedi kimseden fayda, işler